What up? It's Hunter from Film Nazar, aka Burn Bruh, and today we're going to be talking about the Lions draft preview, so let's get started. So getting started with the Lions draft preview, we're going to start off at the offensive side of the ball. And I mean, when you look at the offensive side of the ball, there's not a lot of holes really. I mean, maybe you think tight end's a hole. I mean, how much do you like Brock White? But he also showed some flashes, I think, of last year. The offensive line, for example, I mean, it is solid all across the board. Maybe you want to replace long-term right guard Graham Glasgow. He's on a one-year deal. But, I mean, really, that offensive line is as strong as can be. So we're going to start off with Jared Goff. I mean, last year had a phenomenal season. 29 touchdowns, just 7 picks. He was top 5 in yards, QBR, and I think was top 6 in yards. I mean, you might want to take maybe a Young or a Stroud if they fall to you at 6. But as of right now, that's not a quarterback the Lions should be looking to replace. At running back, with DeAndre Swift, I mean, had less than 100 attempts last year, but only by 1. Played around 13 to 14 games. Had not a lot of attempts, but when he ran the ball well. He had like 5.5 yards per attempt every time. And then David Montgomery just signed a 2-year deal, pretty much their Jamal Williams replacement. I mean, not really anything big, but I mean, you get your replacement for him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a guy that really burst on the scene towards the end of 2021, and last year had another phenomenal season with over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, second-year rookie. I mean, towards ACL back in the national championship game versus Georgia. Didn't play too much last year, but I mean, coming into this year, there's high hopes for him. And then bringing back Marvin Jones Jr. is a solid move for them. I mean, he fits in perfectly in the wide receiver 3 role. I mean, great leader and brings excellent presence to that offense. Tight end, like we said, Brock White. Don't know how much you really want to trust him moving forward. The O-line, I don't think there's anything you're really looking to replace. Maybe we're looking to add some depth interior-wise, but the Jonah Jackson, Ragnow, and Glasgow 3, I mean, they'll be just fine. Now, on the defensive side, the D-line's a little tricky, besides Aiden Hutchinson, because obviously we know who he is, and obviously the great rookie year he had last year. But, I mean, then you have guys like Jillian Okora, Charles Harris, Romeo Okora. Is that really the 2 through 4 you want? I mean, they're just not bad, don't get me wrong, but you could definitely upgrade there if available in the draft. Defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil has been pretty good out of North Carolina State. Not too special, but I mean, he's a starter. Isaiah Buggs, 2019 pick by the Steelers. He's a replaceable piece. You look at the linebackers with Malcolm Rodriguez, Alex Anzalone. I mean, obviously you need depth there, so linebacker is a position of need. But Malcolm Rodriguez really burst off to the scene last year, especially in training camp on Hard Knocks. I mean, we saw the knowledge of this kid. Even James Houston, I mean, last year. I mean, no one was expecting him to have this type of year. I mean, he went out and did his thing. And then, man, it's almost like a no-fly zone out there now. I mean, they go out and get Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, to already go with Jeff Okudah, Tracy Walker, and Kirby Joseph, who showed flashes last year. I mean, there's not really anything you need there. I mean, there's depth all over with Jaron Williams, Brady Breezy, Will Harris, Jerry Jacobs. I mean, there's a lot of good pieces on this Lions defense. They don't need any pieces besides that linebacker here, and it's really just for depth reasons and interior defensive line reasons. All right, so let's get started on this Lions mock draft today. I mean, they picked 6 overall. They have a really good spot. Let's just see what happens to fall to them here at 6. All right, so looking here, Jalen Carter and Tyrese Wilson, both names that you're just glamoring over here. You would be glamoring over Christian Gonzalez and Devon Witherspoon as well if, I mean, you didn't already sign an entire secondary in free agency. But, I mean, at this point, they need interior defense line help bad. I feel like you have to go Jalen Carter. But also with Tyree Wilson to go on the other side, Aiden Hutchinson, it's really like a 1-2 combo. Oh, it's tough here. I think you can survive with Charles Harris as your Russian too, though, so Jalen Carter's going to be the pick here. So now again at 18, you get your edge in the first 10 picks. Do you go Brian here, get your defense tackle? As glaring as that is, I don't think you do. You don't need Brian Branch here. Bijan. Maybe you're looking to replace Swift in 2 years, but I mean with David Montgomery, I just think that's too loaded of a backfield to really draft him here. You don't really need wide receiver. Joey Porter wouldn't be a bad pick as also, but once again, your corner room is loaded. So I mean at this point, if this is your board, I think they have to go Michael Mayer. I think it's just their best option here. So that's what we're going to go with. And then they pick here again at 49. Brian Branch is on the board. Maybe you like John Michael Schmitz here. I mean, maybe he's your guy that you want to learn for a year or two and then just jump right in. But they do need linebacker depth bad, and I think Trenton Simpson can be a guy who can come in day one and possibly be a starter for them. I mean, really an athletic freak from Clemson, really raw athlete, but a guy that maybe is max 1 year away. Maybe he comes in year one and takes the job from Malcolm Rodriguez or Alex Anzalone. I mean, it's really good for the Lions here if that's your first three. So then we pick here again at 56. Again, I feel like you don't need a tight end now. Still don't think you need that Gibbs pick with a running back. I think at this point, I mean, if John Michael Schmitz falls to you here in the second round, it just has to be the pick. Guy can be a plug-in, play-out guy. Pick here again in the third round. Hendon Hooker's intriguing, so is Jordan Battle, but once again, don't need safety. Got your linebacker depth already. Got you some interior line depth. I mean, it's really hard here not to pick Hendon Hooker for the Lions there in the third round, which we are going to do, even as a guy that can come in and learn behind Jared Goff years 1, 2, maybe 3. I mean, that's a good pick and a good depth pick for them moving forward. Holy corners here in the 5th round, which they don't need. But if Zach Evans is here in the 5th round, this is a must pick for the Lions. Obviously, they don't need that type running back pick, but to get a guy in the future with Swift on a 1-year type contract in the 5th round with his potential, I mean, what is there not to like? Pick here again in the 6th round at 185. Just a lot of needs so far. I mean, maybe double up on corner your last few picks, but once again, you don't really need corner. I think here, if you're the Lions, though, getting a guy like Jaden Reed from Michigan State, I mean, smaller type guy, but I mean, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Marvin Jones Jr., it's really the 1 through 3 you have. You don't have that 4th. And I mean, you get Jaden Reed here in the 6th round. He can easily be your 4th, and maybe here's your 3rd by next year. So you pick here again at 196. I think Eli Ricks is just screaming at you here. You have to pick here. And even though you don't really need corner, I think that's probably your best bet. So looking here at the mock, I mean, you take Jalen Carter, you get that defensive tackle to go next to Aiden Hutchinson. You get that Michael Mayer to fill out that offense with Jared Goff. You get Trenton Simpson to fill out that linebacker core. I mean, if you're the Lions, you filled every need in this draft, and you feel good about your future moving forward. I mean, really, right? Every single pick, all the way through Jaden Reed, is a guy that can probably come in year 1 and help you, besides Hendon Hooker. So, I think this is a home run type draft for the Lions, but it just depends on who can fall to them at 6 overall. But thank you for watching. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and keep looking forward for more draft reviews.